Hey guys, awesome to see you here on the channel once again. I hope you're here to get a little bit of studying in for your art and some practice in. And in today's session, I'm going to be talking about line confidence. Now, we've already done the session because I'm doing the recording a little bit differently, but the main message in this whole video, if you want anything to take from it, is going to be practice. Which is the message for every video, but it's even more important here, and I'll talk about it more during the video. Now, little apologies for not uploading too much recently. Been having a bit of a busy time at work, but hopefully as things clear up a little bit, I'll be back to making more videos, because that's my goal. Before the end of the year, I want to smash out quite a lot of videos to make sure we're taking 2024 to at a good pace. I know it's crazy to already be talking about the next year. It's just turned 2023, but that's time, unfortunately. It goes very quickly. Now, in today's session, I kind of broke it down into a couple parts, and the main part is I show you a little practice exercise, then I show you how you would kind of put that exercise into a quick sketch, and then afterwards I did a time lapse of a drawing where you just get to watch me do all of this stuff. I hope you enjoy this one, and I hope you get a lot of practice in, and I'll see you. So, hey guys, what are we doing today? Oh, we know what we're doing today. Line weight. You guys have asked that I come on here and show you a little bit on line confidence and how I'd approach maybe improving this over time and getting better at creating lines, because a lot of the time when we start drawing, our lines tend to look a little bit like this, and a lot of people don't like it. You know, everyone has an issue with this at the beginning. I remember I had a massive issue with this. I just remember completely hating how my lines would look and wanting to do anything I could to change that. I'm just going to adjust the light a little bit because it seems to be kind of powerful. I'm going to get rid of this, and we'll start doing a couple exercises that I would usually do when it comes to creating better lines. I did do a video on this already, but the video was on line weight rather than actual line quality, or well, line confidence. And yeah, I went ahead and got myself a 2H pencil recently. Been enjoying using that. But what I want you guys to do, ditch this. Take this away. Although I just bought it, you know, go. It's time to go. It's time to bring in these guys. Any one of these guys. I recommend you get a ballpoint pen, because they're just simply the, you know, very accessible. You can get the cheapest ballpoint pen in the world and use one of these. Why? Because you gotta own your mistakes. You can't just get rid of it. And what we want is we want to see all the lines we create before, so we can help ourselves adjust the line. Now, what we're gonna do is do a little, let's move over here. Do a little warm-up exercise. So up. And we're going to use a pen for this, and give me a second, make sure that it's caught focus. So we're going to do a little warm-up, and we're going to create two dots. Just create 2 dots and keep going down, and make about a couple of these. And this is an exercise we did in industrial design. This was how we got started with creating lines. And what we're going to do is go from one to the other with one stroke, and we're going to try and keep it as straight as possible. And notice, this is a very important point, I'm not going to do this, not with my wrist, not like this. I'm going to use my arm. This stays put. I use my entire arm, and we're going to just go across, and we're going to try our best, go from one side to the other, and make a straight line, just like that. And you can go over it again. Try and see if you can keep on the same line as much as possible, and then go again. That one screwed up a little bit, and so did that one. You just keep going, you keep practicing, making the line a little bit thicker as you go, There we go. And you keep doing this, and you do this, you grab yourself, let me see if I can get like a scrap piece of paper here. Grab yourself a scrap piece of paper, and you do this, you divide the paper in half, and you do this as much as you can. What this is gonna do, you're gonna start to build confidence with your strokes. With the pen strokes, pencil strokes, whatever. I mean, you can do this with a pencil, but you know, it's just exact same thing. But the reason we're doing it with a pen is just so we can really put the adrenaline up high and make sure that we own the mistakes. And we're gonna just keep going, and you keep going, and then you can try and do it the other way. So you go this way, and this is a warm-up. So you do this before we do anything, and then right after that, we're gonna make circles in between these, and we're gonna keep to the bounds. And what we're gonna do again is use our entire arm, not just the wrist. It's a very important point. That one didn't come out too well. What you can do is do little practice runs, and then you go in. This is very popular in design. And we can go in again, change the length, and you keep it, but you use your entire arm. Make sure you're not using your wrist. That's really gonna make this harder, because like even if I use my wrist to do this, it doesn't work as well. But if we use our entire arm, it's gonna get us a much nicer effect and a much cleaner line, and it's gonna become much more natural for you to then make shapes like this. Like, rather than coming in and doing this across the entire shape, if you want a confident looking line, you're gonna have to go in and do it with one full stroke. That's really the main part of having clean lines, is doing these sort of things and doing this with your drawing over and over and over and over again. Now, let's see, let's go up here. So, always keeping this in the back of your mind. Let's say you want to do a drawing next, and we're going to get something up just so we can have a little bit of fun. Let's create a little spaceship. Now I'm going to do a couple lines just so we have a little bit of a reference. And yep. Another really important thing with having clean lines is that you have a good foundation to put your art on. So I do recommend, if you are still scared with using the pen, go in with your pencil and create guidelines like this, like I've just created with the pen, and create shapes to guide you along as much as you can, right? So use the shapes. That's the reason why whenever we do any drawing on the channel, you see me building it with shapes first and then going in afterwards. It's very important that we have guides for us at the beginning. The more you do it, the less you'll need it. So let's try and do this in a much more confident way. Creating confident as much as we can, putting in as much confidence as we can into these lines. We're not gonna come in here and do this, because that, even though I have nothing against doing this, but if you want to build confident lines, you're going to have to limit it. So what I'm going to do instead is try and do just full strokes. And it doesn't matter if I go wrong. It's a very important thing. We're just building confidence. And the first couple times you do this, it may look terrible. It really may. It may screw up completely and you may hate it. But the main practice here is that you just do these straight lines. Not exactly straight, but you don't do the chicken scratching. You just want to try and find as many of these straight lines as possible, and you try creating whatever you're creating with just one stroke, or as little strokes as possible. And I'm not saying you have to always do this afterwards, but I think it's a good practice and a good exercise to start learning this. Unfortunately, the rather sad slash hard pill to swallow with this is that you're just gonna have to keep drawing. It's something that will come naturally to you, and it is something that comes naturally to anyone. Like I mentioned, my lines used to be terrible. They used to genuinely suck. I hated them completely. But over time, I've learned to be a lot more confident with my drawings, and I've learned to control my instruments a lot more. And you guys will know that this happens with absolutely anything that you do, any skill that you try and learn. It's gonna suck at some point. You're gonna have a lot of drawings that you hate, but I think the biggest thing you guys can be doing right now is using a pen and just building that confidence to understand that, hey, you know, it doesn't matter if I go wrong, we can fix it. Now I just want to show you guys, I did some drawing yesterday, and I did it with a pen, and I decided that's what it's gonna be now. I'm gonna start drawing with ballpoint pen. What I do before, I did a little bit of this before, if you guys saw it on the Discord, but as you can see, the first one I did, I wasn't very confident. I was scratching as much as possible, just creating as many lines as I could. And then this one, although there is still some chicken scratching going on, there was a lot more confidence in this. Pure reason why, it was the third one. I gotten warmed up by then, and then it sort of became a lot more natural, and that muscle memory that I had built in started to appear right over here. So I was actually very happy with these. I did this one today at a restaurant, which was also a lot of fun, drawing that. To be very quick and awkward, not to keep looking at the person. But yeah, these were a lot of fun, and I really recommend that you guys go with a ballpoint pen or go with a marker or anything. I've got one of these are pretty fun as well. I don't use this enough, but this is like almost like a felt marker. Let's see. Oh yeah, that is a lot of fun to use. But as you can see, whenever I'm drawing this, I'm using my wrist with the small ones and then my arm with the longer ones. So something like this, I'll have to use my wrist. But I'm trying to do these straight moves and these straight lines. This is really something that I was actually taught a lot in design. They very much recommend that you do this style of drawing with everything that you do. Also, as I know this design of this spaceship's a bit whack, but bear with me. This is more of a display of line and line quality. But I do really want to stress the point that you have to just keep practicing this over and over again, which I know it sucks to hear that, but unfortunately, that is pretty much the answer to any problem that we have in art. It's just you need to repeat it multiple times. Right. We can make some lines thicker, some thinner, but the more you do this, the more you're just going to become comfortable with creating these shapes. Reason why? They're just going to be in your head. You're just going to know what's required where, and what needs to be put where, and what that thing looks like. You're building your visual library as much as possible to then be able to produce anything you want, just at the stroke of a pen. So, main things to take away from this is use a more permanent tool, such as a pen, some ink, anything like that. Practice these warm-ups, like this one. Just keep practicing them every time you go ahead and you want to start a new drawing. Let's say you wanted to create a character. Do warm-ups like this. What you're going to do with a character mostly? You're going to do circles, and you're going to do a lot of them. So, you're going to be drawing a character, you're going to draw a face, you're going to draw eyes, anything. You're going to want to practice how to draw a circle properly. And you're going to do it a couple more times on the face. and you're gonna do it here as well, and then you're gonna have to do straight lines. So practice doing straight lines like this and like this. I know it seems easy when I'm explaining it here. I know it's much more difficult than this, but the main thing you gotta do is believe in it, be confident in yourself and your abilities, and you just keep practicing the lines. There isn't too much more for me to add in this drawing, this video. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to do a little drawing, and I'm going to give you guys a time lapse of me doing the drawing. But the majority of the things I wanted to say has been pretty much said. The main thing I want you guys to do is practice this, use a pen, and use your arm. Use your arm, not your wrist, your arm. Do strokes like this with using your entire arm, and don't do things like this too much. Like, you can, but it's just something that you're gonna have to get used to, and you're gonna know eventually which movement you're gonna be able to use where. So it's really all down to that. And there's one more thing I wanted to say, but I'm trying to remember what it was. Just practice. I'm sure I'll think of it later on, and I'll mention it in the video. But let's do a little time lapse now for you guys, and you can see me trying to use my entire arm. I'm going to try and show you that during this time lapse.